Yazon is an expert in human resources and organizational development. She has 30 years of professional experience in HR management and OD, 8 years in operations, and 6 years in research and data analytics. She's a shareholder and director of EDF Management Consultancy. And among with some organizations that she had professional engagements are Discovery Primea Condominium, PhilScan Travel and Tours, Vanguard Assessment and Behavioral Dynamics International, Magsaysay Group of Companies, and many more.
Oh no.
And as an OD expert, he is currently an independent consultant for Discovery Primea Condominium, consultant for PhilScan, and Vanguard Assessments. She also did job evaluation systems. So with regard to organizational development, she has been engaged in job evaluation systems of several organizations, performance appraisal systems, career development and succession planning programs, management of corporate strategic process, employee attitude survey, research and data analytics. She finished Master's in Business Administration from Ateneo de Manila University and Bachelor of Business Administration from St. Teresa's College. Without further ado, our speaker for this moment, Ms. Celeste Quiazon. Ms. Quiazon, hello po.
Now, can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Opo.
Yeah, okay. Can I share screen already?
Okay. Yes, opo. You may now share your screen. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, I lost the screen. Share. Oh, there. Okay, hi, good morning. There, I lost it again.
Net, can we see you?
Yeah, wait. Hold it.
Okay.
What do I have left?
Ayan na.
Roman numeral 2?
I'm here. Okay.
Yes.
So
There, yeah, we see
there.
you now.
Hi, Sonia.
Hi.
Okay, is this my material or is this your material? Is this the one I sent?
Yes, ma'am. The one that you've shared with us.
Okay, kasi ayaw gumalaw, hindi ko siya ma-manage.
If you want, ma'am, you may share your own screen. This is the screen of France.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe I should just share my screen.
Okay.
How do I? Okay. But I can't find it. iPhone files, Dropbox, Google Box. Okay. Richard, I can't seem to get hold of it.
Okay.
It doesn't. Anyway, sige, France just follow me.
Okay.
Okay. May baka magkaroon na tayo ng problem doon. France, are you there?
Yes, ma'am, it's already po.
Okay, sige. Anyway, hi, good morning. Okay, change screen, please. Okay, you saw the classroom earlier. That's my drama here. And then you're looking right now at a manufacturing firm. Okay, that's the industry side. Now, next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, today our topic is, see, this is what I'm saying. This was I picked, I made changes this morning. That's the reason why I was looking for my own, this was the one in the invitation that I saw set by Sonia. So originally it was fast changing world of work and career counseling challenges. So let's just stay there, because anyway, it's true that the work environment is really fast changing. No? And next slide, please. Okay, you will see that from 1960 to 2010, we're looking at the different changes and the evolution of human resource management. I hate to say this, but I've seen all of them because I actually started rather early. I've been around for 40 years. But it was towards the end, starting 2000, when they were attempting at making it look like a human capital management. It did not stick very much. So up to now, we are still calling it HR, right? However, there is a new development in it. It's supposed to come out of France. It is talent management. Okay. Now it is fast evolving into talent management. And talent management as a function in any organization is now very, very strategic. It has actually a personality of being strategic, primarily because it uses a lot of technology and it has to be there to drive the technology in the organization. Apart from the fact that it has to be innovative, it has to be agile, it has to be collaborative, and definitely it has to make sure that the organization has diversity. Now, I think the next one is agile and diversity. Okay. Next slide, please. We are now, let us discuss technology, because technology is the one that makes actually industry move very fast. I'm sure a lot of you have already heard about Industry 4.0. And since I only see two people here, I cannot ask the question, how many people already know about 4.0? Industry 4.0 has the following characteristics. Next slide, please. Industry 4.0 is 4.0 because actually industry has already gone through 3 previous industry changes back in the time of Marie Antoinette with the cake. That's when we started mechanization of things that we have done. Before that, Europe was actually a population of craftsmen. Puro kamay ang gamit, no? But now there was mechanization. Industry 2.0 came up when they realized that the things that they need have to be mass produced. So the assembly line component was already put in place. And then the 3.0 came in sometime in the 1960s. Now, if anybody has seen the movie of the 3 women who launched the first astronaut in the US to the moon, you will see that IBM was the first one that came out with a computer. Pero yung computer nila, yung tinutulak pa kasi kasing lalaki ng aparador. No? That's how big the computers were. Now, right now, in Industry 4.0, you do not even see the computers anymore. They are so small, and I understand from my son that that soon enough, even the fibers, Hidden Figures, France, that's right. Hidden Figures was the movie. Hidden Figures is actually about three black women who were very, very vital in the launching of the very first astronaut in US American astronauts into space. But there you will see that the computers were so huge and nobody knew how to operate them. That is your Industry 3.0. Industry 4.0, as I was discussing, the computers it's not even palm top kasi noon desktop, tapos may palm top. Ngayon, hindi mo na sila makita kasi they are already as small as your fingers. I mean, the top of your finger. They're so small. As a matter of fact, I understand, as I was saying from my son, that soon some fabrics will already have computers in them to, I don't know, to track people, I guess. That's it, no? The next slide will show you some characteristics of Industry 4.0. Okay, these are some characteristics of Industry 4.0. Internet of Things, cyber physical systems, smart factories, which I will show you later. Cloud computing, of course, we know that. Cognitive computing, meaning you recognize how it is and the data will be coming in. And artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence are like your robots, where one hotel, I understand in Japan, is just operated all by robots. That's artificial intelligence. Our next slide is actually a video. Do you have it, Franz? Okay lang? This
Yes, Miss
gives you an
Wait.
idea. Okay. This one is actually a very, very straightforward show about what is Industry 4.0.
What is Industry 4.0?
Everybody
What
should
does it
listen
mean to
very
you?
carefully and watch.
Technology is driving change across all areas of society. Not only do we increasingly use it and even rely on it in our personal lives, we also find our workplaces digitally evolving, with more and more processes now being undertaken using technology. This change is known as the Fourth Industrial Revolution, or Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 will see many tasks that were once performed by us now being automated. With the collection and analysis of real-time data, artificial intelligence, and the ability for all components of a production line to talk to each other, production can be really efficient and personalized according to customer needs. But what does this mean for us? With increased automation, our time will be freed up for concentrating on more complex tasks. We will need a workforce who are capable of building, programming and developing these technologies, but also making sure we are applying them to our lives in an ethical way. There are core skills that we can offer that technology cannot replace. The human touch is going to be incredibly important, ensuring effective communication, problem solving, and supporting change management in this digital environment. There will also be a greater need for joint working across disciplines, creating new innovations. The future job market will be looking for graduates with an open mind to explore the unknown future possibilities. We will all need to develop our skills in order to adapt to this ever-changing environment. What will you do to make sure you are ready and have the right skills to thrive in the Fourth Industrial Revolution?
The next video will actually show you in a real way how 4.0 is being applied. Okay, the Amazon warehouse uses robots or artificial intelligence in order to run the warehouse. I was with Pilipinas Macro before. I was GM of 2 stores consecutively. And I would like to have, I wish we had that actually in the store. If you notice, there were very, very few people in it. Everything moves using technology from the time that the goods enter the GR to the time that it is stocked up in the racks and then it is bought by consumers the same way that Lazada actually takes our orders. And then the only time that another person or another warm body is part of the process is when they already scan the orders, and another time when they already pack it. That is actually an integrated system. So that is, in a sense, skills are totally different. During my time when I was running a macro store, there were so many people there stocking, bringing down cost, and all of that. And to think, what was that, 20 years ago, that particular system came from Denmark, from Holland, I mean. It came from Holland, and it was already an advanced system, something we did not have here in the Philippines. And still, this one is more advanced than that. So as you can see, eventually, the manual handling of things will already begun. Okay, the next slide is actually the feature of recohesion. We are, Franz, we will only look at the first feature. Actually, the entire exchange, the exchange of that particular day is devoted to the growing video game industry, which is about approximately $200 billion worth already in the next 2 years. And how we are as a role player globally in this, and where are the prospects here. So please listen carefully what it is that they need from the educational system. Okay.
From news and views, issues and opportunities, we'll have in-depth conversations with decision makers to find out what they know and what they think. I'm Rico Hizon, inviting you to join the exchange because your business is our business.
Mega kill! An enemy has been slain!
A multi-billion-dollar industry that is exploding worldwide amid this pandemic. And our country is a major player.
Sweet.
With much time on their hands, more Filipinos are crushing,
Sugar Crush.
slaying,
Killing spree!
or building their armies in their virtual quarantine world. The unstoppable rise of the video game industry, now creating jobs and providing leisure and entertainment to many. These young people are taking gaming into a whole new level and turning their passion into a profession, and making the Philippines a breeding ground for pro gamers while championing world-class esports. The vision of the father of Philippine esports, in our C-Suite vision.
Victory!
Let's all play video games because the global video games market has boomed into a multi-billion-dollar industry. Filipinos are among the key consumers of this platform, spending hours online, especially during this lockdown. Let's now have an exchange with Alvin Huban of the Game Developers Association of the Philippines. Alvin, great to have you with us. You have worked with Microsoft's Xbox. How important is the Filipino talent to the global gaming development industry?
We have actually much more to prove. You know, I've been one of the lucky ones that we've been working with Xbox for 6 years straight. And I guess that it shows that our talent is here to stay. There's practically nothing we can't do here that the other countries are doing. So that's how important it is.
Alvin, we have this question from Victor Kabubay, a aspiring game developer.
If you are looking for aspiring applicants, ano yung pinaka hinahanap nyong characteristic sa kanila?
Ayon, anong hinahanap na characteristic in the Filipino designer or game developer in this industry, Alvin?
Yeah. Well, usually people will say it's passion, but we've been saying that for the longest time. And a lot of people I've met that is so filled with passion usually lack the hard skills. So you come and ask us a question or an inquiry, make sure that you already have some hard skills ingrained in you already.
What are these hard skills, Alvin?
Well, if you're coming in as a game developer, if you're coming in as a programmer, you have to be really well versed of the software that we're using. Even if you're a fresh graduate, we do expect that you can be part of our production line instantly. If you're an artist, you have to come in with a very, very impressive portfolio. You know, that is at par with what we're doing.
So over the past decade, and even during this pandemic, Alvin, is game development creating more jobs for our kababayans?
We're trying to actually. Obviously, games exploded by 60% over the pandemic, and the service that the international community requires rose as well. The challenge is expanding. You know, we didn't have problems keeping our staff count. Our problem is actually expanding. Now, obviously, we can interview. You know, we can hire a little while online. But there are certain things that we had difficulty with, and that's like training, you know, absolute training. Because we usually do in a studio, we do our work in a creative fashion. So we like being face-to-face, you know. So I say it's been difficult, but not impossible. So we're quite okay.
We have this question now, Alvin, from James Santa Ana, another aspiring game developer.
In what direction is the game industry heading towards in a few years?
All right. Does the game development industry pay higher than other jobs?
In the Philippine arena, especially at entry level, I'm quite proud to say we are a bit higher. You know, we are quite a bit higher, and it's a more interesting industry, a non-traditional industry to get into. Hopefully, you know, in as you go along the corporate ladder, that we are still all trying to universalize in our studios, that it will get better. But entering a studio, you'll be able to cope with what we're offering you already.
So when you join a studio, Alvin, does the individual get paid by project, by game, or is it usually a monthly salary?
Usually for our members, it's a monthly salary. But of course we do take in projects, you know, special projects, and we do contract hire. But generally, it's a monthly thing. We try to act as normally as possible.
You know, there's so many famous titles out there in the video gaming world, Alvin. But specifically tell us, which video games have Filipinos developed or were part of development that are now being played around the world?
Again, we're truly lucky that there have been a few Filipinos who are in the global companies, the big global renowned companies in AAA games. You know, when I say AAA games, that's the console games, whether it's PlayStation or Xbox. So, and there are Filipinos there who's helped us bridge contracts, opportunities to work on contracts. So there have been games like the Uncharted series, Uncharted 3, Uncharted 4. Filipinos were part of it. Last of Us, the first one and the second one, we were part of that as well. I've been working on my team has been working on the Gears of War series of Xbox for the past 6 years. You know, that's dedication for you. Cyberpunk, another big game, which is quite a bit stalled right now, but it's world famous. Witcher 3 by the same company.
Wow.
There's another bunch of Filipinos out there. Yeah. So
that's a lot.
We've had that's a lot. That's a lot.
We've made our name
there's a bit
in
more.
the global video gaming industry, Alvin. But you know what? I know a lot of Filipino kids who want to join the video game industry in the future, just like my son. What tips can you give him and his friends to prepare for a potential career here?
Okay, first is we have to take out the fog of war in games. Now, if you're going to work for the game development industry, you have to understand that it's not all about playing games. A lot of kids enroll in courses, and we are lucky that we do have game development courses, 4-year degrees in the Philippines. But you have to have that mindset that you have to have real-world science behind you. You have to know the physics, geometry. You have to know programming. And the best ones that we look for, they have to have the high degree of math or a high degree of logic.
Okay.
Now, for the art side, that's another thing. But we've always felt that Filipinos are so visual. We are in a lot of industries that we excel in as Filipinos because we've been very visual. Do not be afraid of the software, especially in art, especially when it comes to 3D. That is the wave of the future, definitely. 3D computer graphics. So if you love art, you have your place in the industry, and don't be afraid of the software. It's just a tool.
All right. Get into this industry fearless with a lot of passion. Alvin Cuban of the Game Developers Association of the Philippines, thank you so much for joining us on The Exchange. And now here's a rundown of this week's top business stories. Congress ratified the bicameral report on the CREATE bill. This will lower...
You will have to... in order to get out, France, in order to get out, you have to go all the way to the end, I guess. This particular, the exchange of Rico Hison actually featured three videos or interviews of 3 people. The second one to this was actually the group that won globally in the global arena on video games, and the third one is the CEO of Minsky. Okay, now what it tells you is that the video gaming industry is a huge industry, but what I wanted to come across is what does it need in order, una, hindi ito laro, okay? In the second interview, parents were very hesitant about this because naglaro-laro lang yan. Dapat they should go to school and have a decent work. But as you can see, it is work. It is an industry. So, and it is here to stay. So this is another avenue that the educational sector will have to prepare itself for. When I say that HR is also technology driven, it's not only because of the operation that we are actually supporting, it is also because we have to be technology driven. Now, the 3 videos that you saw, I summarized what it needed. As you can hear, Alvin Huban was saying the first one, what is 4.0? What is the expectation of industry? The expectation of industry is for the people behind the technology to know how to build, how to program, and how to develop more technology. Now, what kind of skills does it need? It needs creativity. It needs interpersonal skills that actually the robots or the AIs will not be able to give. And problem solving. We need to have skills in problem solving. I've already experienced that's going to be a big problem in the industry. In education, what does it need from Alvin? It needs physics. It needs geometry. It needs a high degree of math. But look, it needs art also. Now, what is the environment that these people, the talents that we will hire, what kind of environment will they be in? They have to be collaborative. They have to have effective communication. They need to know how to support change management. In other words, hindi sila natatakot. What kind of personality or characteristics do we have? We have to be open-minded. They have to be curious. They have to be agile. They know how to adapt. And they are fearless. Okay. Actually, this is the thing that frustrates the industry. The people that we get, even 10 years ago, when 4.0 already started, we cannot find just like that people who have the skills and the personality for this. Okay, next slide, please. Let's talk about HR being strategic. Kasi we really have to be strategic. You will see why. I hope you've seen The Queen's Gambit in Netflix. If you saw The Queen's Gambit, it more or less shows you the meaning of strategy. Strategy means that you can see so many steps ahead in order to get your result. That is the meaning of strategic. Now let me show you what Ayala Corporation did at the end of last year. Next slide, please. In December 16, 2020, it came out in the papers, it's in their website. Ayala Corporation released an official announcement of the reorganization at the top level with the promotion of Jose Teodoro Limcauco, we call him TJ. Ayala Corporation's current Chief Finance Officer, current Chief Risk Officer, and current Chief Sustainability Officer as President and CEO of BPI. And then simultaneous to that, the appointment of Albert Larrazabal, who is now the current CFO of Globe Telecommunications, to take over the position of TJ Limcauco. Now, next slide, please. JASA comes out with a statement saying the Ayala group of companies is very fortunate to have a deep bench and succession pathways for colleagues who epitomize our values and exhibit potential beyond their current roles. At Ayala, it is our leaders' responsibility to nurture talent and plan paths of succession. I do not agree that they were very fortunate. Next slide, please. Ayala Corporation worked very, very hard in order to have a TJ Limcauco take over the president and CEO job. And TJ was hired 20 years previous to that. If you take a look at the slide right now that you are that's being shown to you, on the right-hand side of the template for the table of organization, you will see this in the website. There is a logo of Ayala with a strategic human resource written under it. It is because they planned ahead for what is going to happen in the future. The promotion of TJ Limcauco is not a surprise, actually. Given the kind of HR that Ayala has, it was actually formed into that. TJ Limcauco, when he was hired more than 20 years ago, straight out of his MBA, was formed into the person that they want him to be. Now, JASA is already past 60. The person who is taking over him is Fernando, the younger brother. But Fernando is 59. And, you know, this family, they get out of their business at around that age. They don't reach compulsory retirement. The father decided to be a photographer. He left many years ago. And now Jasa, at the age of 60, 61 years old, is just holding on to the CEO position. Fernando is the one taking over. But no, nobody else in that family is ready for the CEO position of Ayala Corporation, the mother company. So they are now looking at their other people already in the subsidiary positions at the highest level to see who will most probably take over. Who will most probably take over the next position, which is already CEO and president of Ayala Corporation. Next slide, please. What is the primary hurdle of HR today? The next slide also comes in. The difficulty of filling up vacancies due to technology. Number one talaga yan, technology. The next one is aging and the changing tenure. Now, ang problema is technology and the aging population came right together. No? Actually, when the retirement law, RA 7641, was enacted in 1993, kind of late already. I started work at 1973. So medyo late na actually sila. This is when, because of optional and normal retirements, where the normal retirement is 50 years old and 10 years of service in the same company, medyo people started having this idea, I'm already 50 and I already have so many years, alis ako. Tapos punta ako sa ibang company. So companies started having vacancies. It's bad the last 10 years. Because my generation, the baby boomers, actually started leaving the company in mass. Because of the provisions wherein 65 years old, 60 years old, pwede nang umalis. Okay? Somebody was just saying there are a lot of people who were retired because of the pandemic. True. Actually, that's true. My client, I already advised them to retire. Anybody, they can retire. So you can imagine the vacancies that are left pre-pandemic. We will talk about the afterwards later. And then the changing tenure pa. Why? The millennials are really not looking, actually even the Gen X. I noticed the Gen X when I was interviewing them. You know, they like to transfer around. Let me see. I was able to interview some people who will say, Ma'am, we were looking for a marketing head. Ma'am, I will study magsaysay. Because you see, I'm already 40 years old. It's time to settle down. Can you beat that? She was in the business. She was already in the market for like 15 years, and it's only now that she feels she should be already permanently in a job. But the millennials are also quite different. They're not the type who will stay long in a place, maybe because also of technology and all the opportunities that they have in front of them. That I qualify here. Oh, this one has a better HMO. You know, and not only that. They don't have to rely on retirement to actually sustain them after retirement. Because now there are so many financial instruments that they have invested on. My kids are investing in things I don't even know about, but they have more money than I have. Why? Because they know how to invest, so they know that they don't have to stay where they are right now. So HR is really having a problem with this set of thinking. Next slide, please. Actually, it's a problem. I was looking at the Commission on Higher Education data on in 2018 to 2019, pre-pandemic. They actually graduated all disciplines. They graduated 751 52, more or less, students. And in the 3 courses that we normally look at, business administration related, engineering and technology, information technology, which is approximately 400,000. Dami yan, ha? Actually, madami yan. And not only that, you are not the only one looking at this. All other companies are looking at it. So nag-aagawan kayo. That's why there is such a thing as a talent war. Because everybody is looking at the 400,000. But see, next slide please, friends. This slide is going to show you what problems we have, no? Despite the 400,000, look at this. In the past 20 years, we know that many schools, especially universities, have focused on providing guidance. This is your area already, to graduating students on career options. However, we practitioners, HR practitioners, notice that there is a wide disconnect between the applicant's qualifications and the industry's expectations. There is one very, very classic example of this, which I think you already know. With the BPO industry, they started with a call center. Now the BPO industry is into everything, including drawing. But when the business process outsourcing industry started approximately 20 years ago, they had the call centers. Okay. They came here kasi nga, the Filipinos were supposed to have English as the second language. However, the greatest frustration of the BPO industry is in fact not getting enough people who can speak well and can think in English and can actually converse in English. It is so rare for them to find somebody they don't have to train. And that is the reason why they had to train people, because the ones that passed actually needed to be trained, because these are people who receive calls from customers and they have to interact with them. So the industry came in thinking that the basic skill was already in the people, but to their surprise, it's not. So they have to launch a massive training in order to make these people qualified to work. Thank God the BPO industry is no longer just in the call center, but already in many, many other things. Even now, if you take out guru.com, you will see that there are a lot of freelancers who are into everything. It's like a BPO already, writing articles, helping with the resumes, designing websites. Okay. Next slide, please. In view of this, I just have some observations. Maybe you guys can help me out here. Okay. The curriculum, we notice, is not synced with the current needs of industry. I don't know. Sorry, kasi hindi naman face-to-face ito, no? Unless you can answer me in chat. How, if Ted is here, maybe somebody from Chet can answer. Is enterprise solution already part of the college curriculum? Now, what is enterprise solution? SAP is an enterprise solution. That thing that you saw in Amazon is an enterprise solution. The reason why I was saying that HR has to be technology driven, it's because HR is an enterprise solution. In 2006, Magsaysay group of companies, and when you say group of companies, we're talking about 30 companies of different industries here, implemented SAP. SAP is an enterprise solution. In other words, makes it transforms your operation into technology that can talk with each other. And because HR is the one managing payroll, which is technically an accounting system, it's an actually accounting process. It had no choice but to learn SAP because it is attached to the accounting system, which is also an SAP. That is an enterprise solution. If the curriculum of college does not have that, you're in big trouble there. Because your people, if they are graduating, they will find out that they will land in departments or in functions that their companies will have to train them for, because they do not understand what's happening. Accountants know debit, credit, pero it's not the debit credit that is the problem. It is how to transfer the knowledge of debit credit into this particular system so that they know exactly what to do with the payroll that comes out in their system, where to book it. And the booking is not paper. The booking is in the system also. That is the meaning of that. When I was in Macro, the Macro was actually a virtual enterprise solution. It was set up by the Dutch in the Philippines. And so what happened there was that the buyers talk with the suppliers, key this into the system. We in the store see that there is a new product, we order, and then it comes out in the system of goods receiving and and then there is a requirement that the supplier has to be internet savvy. I mean, they are connected to the internet. They will receive they will receive the order, they will present the paper, and then when it is received in the system, it will now go to the selling area also in a system. Nobody's encoding this. And then the entire operation actually finishes in the system when it is bought. When it is bought, the system gives the sales to the head office, not manually, but system na naman. And then it goes to the sales component of the system in the head office. Nobody is handling a piece of paper here. That is the meaning of an enterprise solution. It is urgent that in college, the curriculum of all courses should have the concept of enterprise solution. Now, another problem, I suspect it's not even there. When you hire accounting, kasi in one of my clients, we hired accounting people. We were having a problem in accounting. And then they bought QuickBooks. QuickBooks is a program. It's an application for accounting. The kids graduated in accounting. They know journalizing, ledgering. I suppose by now they don't use yellow paper like I did before, and columnar pads. They use Excel formats. The problem is they do not understand. They had to be trained in QuickBooks. Okay na yon, but they could not now analyze the transaction and determine whether or not this is supposed to be a debit or this is supposed to be a credit. So unless they have a chance at using technology in school, they are going to have a problem using it in the workplace. Okay, if anybody wants to comment, go ahead. Another thing, most universities, I guess except the Catholic run, religious run like Ateneo, Marinol, LaSalle, character development is not given importance. Right now, if you noticed in the video of the 4.0, you notice that interpersonal skills is very necessary. And when you say interpersonal skill, it is in the character development that comes out. Because you see, the technical is easy to train. See, the problem of technical is it evolves very fast. I was receiving chat messages saying there's already a 5.0. I am just talking about 4.0. And not only am I talking about 4.0, the schools are not even in 4.0. But now we have a 5.0. I'm not surprised. Because when I bought last year my Samsung Note 6, before I knew it, there was already an 8 or a 9, like less than 6 months after. That's how fast technology is. And that's why that technical is not hard, because they can be trained in technical, but it is important that the school actually puts a lot of importance in character development, because that is where we are going to be highly competitive. Remember that when the pandemic ends, and we are all hopeful it will end, and industry opens, everybody will like, it's like the war is now on opening the economies. But the war is going to be global. It is not going to be local. We are no longer competing with another person here in the Philippines locally. We will be competing with the Asian regions. We are even being compared to the Asian regions now in almost everything. So the competition is global. And because the competition is global, there is a need for us to see what is there in the education they're giving their people, so that our companies here can compete globally also. That is very, very important. I guess that ends it, France, no? I don't know how we're going to. Oh, by the way, yes, there's another one pala. The timing of career counseling. The reason I placed that there is because I had a walk around in one university, and there was one of the officers very proudly told me that, we have guidance for career counseling for our graduating students. I didn't say this out loud, but I was wondering, why are you giving career counseling to graduating students? Is this true? I mean, guys, are you giving career counseling to graduating students? Is that true? Because that's true. But career counseling should start before they even decide on what career they want. For instance, if a person takes up accounting, if a person took up accounting, actually, the person already knows where he's going. Or a person took out mechanical engineering, I guess he has pretty good idea what it is that he wants. Or medicine, gusto niya maging doktor. What could career counseling do at the end of the person's education? Pretty much nothing. Career counseling should be at the start, before the student enrolls, so that the student would be clear what it is that they are up to, that is actually in sync with their personality, with their mental capacity. This. I really have to, because this is the one and only time I saw this. When my son had his entrance exam in Ateneo, he received a letter telling him, congratulations, you passed, blah, 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 your strengths are this, blah, 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 and so forth and so on. Actually, it was there that they suggested what he takes. because of his strengths. And I was very, very grateful for that, because it tells my son what he is good at. Okay. Well, of course, the parents are a totally different question. You have to sit down with the parents. If they insist that gusto nilang, like my mom wanted me to be a CPA, I cannot for the heart of me figure out how I can be a CPA. I have to slug it out with her. It's not in my personality to be a CPA. I will not, in other words, I will not be happy there. I will not excel there. And the world will not get anything out of me if I was a CPA. So it has to start. One chat was saying it has to start in elementary. Of course. Even before that, sports people, the ballerinas, the dancers, the golfers, the basketball players, they all start when they're young. Of course, they went to school for other things, but just to show you that it has to start very young. Somebody was saying it should start from elementary. Yes, of course. But comment on, it says here, it should start elementary. Career should, from MAE to everyone. Career counseling should start as early as elementary. True. But MAE, if you have only all marine schools in the Visayas area, I really don't know how far you're going to get out of that. But the Visayas area is teeming with maritime schools. And that's the reason why a lot of maritime, marino natin, our people, are actually from the Visayas area. Career counseling is a process. It comes in stages depending on the student's readiness. Good. But let us start it very, very early, even before they actually enroll. Okay. Guidance center to MC Guidance Center. I totally agree, but also there is a need for empowering the importance of career development to be integrated to the academic curriculum. I think the CHED should have listened to this because they are on top of everything we're doing here. Mind Well by CML Clinic. We started it in preschool as one of our international school with service learning methodology. Good. I like that. That's very, very good. The HR people after me will have a good time. MAE, often the problem is the parent who wants to realize their dreams through their kids. That is so true. It's especially true at this time where our poor, how do you say this? The poor level, the level of below middle class, the lower level, are actually using education to get them out of poverty. When you've been to a company like Magsaysay, where you see that the seafarers are coming in from the lower level, wala namang seafarers na mayaman eh. Have you seen anybody whose parent is a millionaire and he became a seafarer? Wala. What we have actually is they are the lower than middle class people whose parents will actually sell their properties to get their kids to school because they know that their kids will earn in dollars. That is true. Very true. Candy, Mauricio, yes, the maritime industry did a great job on career development. And this was brought by the liaison of academe industry partnership. That is true. We are, by the way, Candy, I think the maritime industry is still lacking in the officer level. Madaming able-bodied seafarers who cannot make it to the higher level because the World Maritime Organization's requirements are very steep. Every time they go to the next level, they have go back to school, get a license. Alis sila doon, and they go to the next level, and they go back to school till they become captains. When they become captains, depende pa kung ano yun. If you are a captain of a tugboat, that's totally different from being a captain of a fuel of oil tanker. And it's in the money of at least $10,000 is in the tanker. It's not in the tugboats. So very steep ang requirement sa maritime industry, but it's true. There is an academe-industry partnership. It has to be because there are so many lives and so many goods at stake when the vessels sail from one continent to another. The challenge is continuing career counseling. The stigma and issues on family and management of money, that becomes an issue. It is true. These are people who are in the lower class, who have already sons who are in the maritime industry, but are not earning enough as they expected in order for them to redeem their land, to redeem their kalabaw, to redeem everything that they had pawned in order for him to go to school. So they are in panic over this. It's an issue, really. But one of the issues there also in the maritime is, if you notice, there are very, very few Filipino captains in ocean-going vessels because of the character of the people. Mabait masyado ang Pilipino. We are very kind and often forgetful about the infractions of other people. This is also a big problem. Any more questions? From Richard. Richard's question, what kind of partnership or collaboration strategy should be done in order for the education and industry intervene with the challenges brought by the fourth IR and the fifth IR? You know, Richard, you have to bring CHED into this. I don't know the dynamics between CHED and the schools. Really, I have no idea. However, you need industry people in your school in order for that's one, I think. You know, MBA. When I had my MBA in Ateneo, there was no professor who was not at work. They have their own work. And then they come to school running bago sila malate because they have to share what they know from industry, from their work, to the ones who are trying to be masters in business administration. That's one. For universities and non-universities to rely on the PhDs of the academe can no longer be realistic. I learned from my sister, who is a professor who was retired, who was with the UST. It's the PhD and the MAs that speak for professors to be in universities. But the problem is, if you have been only in the academe, you do not know what's happening there outside. You need industry people to teach. Please take the challenge from the maritime industry. The maritime industry, especially the ones that are in the training schools, so that the seamen can take their next level, they are usually officers. They take the officers to teach. As a matter of fact, I had a chat with somebody from the training center. Training center. They don't even want to take retired maritime officers. Why? Yung alam nila na vessels, luma na. And the vessels are now computerized. So, they prefer to have as professors in their training center those who just came down from a vessel to teach in the training center. But that is also a problem with them because those who came down from a 10-year or a 6 months or 10 months contract want to rest. They just want to rest. They don't care about teaching. So it has become actually a hurdle for the training centers of the maritime industry. But please consider taking in industry people to teach in your schools so that ma-update kayo. Then you will see what the problem is firsthand. Okay, other messages here. From Candy, Mauricio, yes, because the captain would take office jobs. Yes, that's true. Or another suggestion from her, SIDAP can take this and be an APO for specialization on career counseling and bridge the specialize of IO in PAP and career in PGA. Well, I don't know what the acronyms mean, but I think you know them. Since there is a law already that all schools need career development services for students, but please, career development services are not for graduating students only. From Zedric, it will be a breakthrough for every one of us if there will be a collaboration between CHED and all of these organizations that you have. Cedric says, yes po, Candy, that is very, very agreed. The industry here, I think Candy was the one who said, Lizelle Mendoza to everyone, agreed. The industry provides the practice or application, the academe provides the theory. Yes, but Lizelle, understand that the theory is changing fast also, huh? So we have to be careful about that. Zedric agrees with Candy, that is very agreeable. Any more comments here? Very nice exchange. Very nice. Dane Cruz to everyone. I would like to agree on that. I used to work as a school counselor and now working with career and workforce development. Different Dane, no? I can see the potential of the academia and the industry partnership to catch up with fast-changing career landscape. So true. Dane, there is difference, as you can see. I would suggest that SIDAP can actually maybe initiate this because otherwise we are going to have big problems. Yung talent war ngayon is, just because most employees are already, take this an opportunity, the pandemic, take it as an opportunity to try and actually come out with ideas and planning and prepare for the opening of the economy. Because at least naka-down, because when the industry is open, there will be a scramble for talents. Believe me, there will be a scramble for talents. And by the time, eto pa, please take note, the pandemic, before I left Magsaysay, which was effective 2017, so that's 4 years ago, almost 5, I had already the draft of the work from home idea that I was really for the work from home. Not for anything else, but because, the time you spend on the road is 2 hours, sayang. Diba? I had a draft of the policy. But I was having a problem with the executives because well, they were older, and so gusto nila yung face to face. You know, guys, we even had one officer. He's the GM of one very earning. It's a fuel related company. Na hindi niya man alam magbukas ng laptop. That is how technically challenged our generation is. And I wanted them to really go work from home. Ayaw. O yan, ngayon nag-pandemic. So when the pandemic came in, technology even moved faster. Really fast. We were forced, even us, even the judges of the Supreme Court, and all the old people were actually forced to use technology. Although I have to admit, I have classmates that still pay in cash. They don't know what a GCash is. They have to actually learn technology. Can you imagine what will happen if the economy comes out? We will no longer recognize the work environment we left behind because hindi na siya sync with what is there out there. That is why we need change management. And yes, ma'am. We need to understand that control is one need, the needs of the baby boomers, so it will be hard to get work from home approved without COVID. Nako, Carol, wala ka na magiging problema dyan. Promise. Candy, when the economy opens, baby boomers will approve it because they've experienced it already. And control is wala. You just have to embrace it. Control is in paper, by the way. We need everything that's written. But even I now just put all my bills on digital file because I don't like to spend on paper anymore. I'm sure those people, control is a need for everyone, so it really takes a compelling need. Let the IT people make a problem out of that. Any more comments?